everyone, welcome back to Hanna Worldwide and Friends, the podcast about living abroad. If you live abroad, or you love to travel, or you are interested in different countries and cultures, this podcast is for you. Also, if you always wanted to live abroad, but you haven't found the courage yet, this podcast might inspire you. Just follow me on Instagram or hit the bell button in Spotify to get updated on new episodes. Listen to Hanna Worldwide and Friends on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Hey everyone, please welcome with me Adam Ang from Malaysia. Adam has been born and raised in Malaysia and decided to study for 2 years in Australia. He then moved to New Zealand with his partner in 2015 and is living here ever since. Hi Adam.
Hi Hanna. Thanks for inviting.
Thank you so much for your time today and that you made it possible for us to have like another episode together.
No worries, always a time for anything, something new, an experience to do this with you.
So I have personally not too many information about Malaysia. So do you mind just telling us a little bit about a few facts about the country and how you grew up in Malaysia?
Well, Malaysia is a quite multicultural country. There's like different race living in Malaysia. The main race will be Malay, Chinese, and Indian. And it's like a big family, Malaysia. Everyone's so friendly, always know each other. And from my hometown, like basically next door, there's like a food court that I always go over to take away, and people just know each other easily, and from different sort of culture.
Do you know how many people are living in your hometown? Not quite.
No, sorry, I'm really bad at facts. I just
no problem at all.
I have no idea.
So it's a little bit like a village vibe because everyone knows each other and says hi.
Yes, I'm from a small town called Moa. That's where I came from. And it's like I won't say it's a village, but it's a small town that everyone just quite nice and friendly and close to each other.
Yeah. Do you know certain major sightseeings you would recommend people if they would want to go over to Malaysia?
Well, for diving, I would recommend going to East Malaysia. There's a place called Shipandan.
Yeah.
And if it's for shopping, Kuala Lumpur, the biggest city, will be the best option. And also there's plenty of restaurant and food and nightlife over there.
Yeah.
Or for more like street food and heritage building, would be either Penang at the North Malaysia or Malacca, which is also another popular tourist city.
Yeah. I actually heard about Kuala Lumpur as well. And I think it also is made up as a really popular travel destination for like beaches and stuff. And is that correct, or
I wouldn't say beach for Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur is more like it feels like a bigger Auckland, like there's a lot of shopping,
so more
shopping
for
mall,
the
nightlife, restaurants, some attraction. For the beach, it's best to go some of the off island, like small island around Malaysia.
Yeah.
I haven't really been to those beach or island much. I can't really tell you which one's good. But preferable the East Malaysia, the one I told you about. That one's good for beach. It's on the island, like crystal clear water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely want to see a lot. So Malaysia would be on my list as well. How did you grow up in Malaysia? How was your family situation? And just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in quite a big family. Everyone just stay in one big house. So in the family, I have like 4 aunts.
Yeah.
And my dad, 2 of my uncles, and my granddad and grandmom. We all live together in one house since I know. But I think after when I grow older, I think around maybe primary school, both of my uncle moved out, and two of my aunts moved out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently, like right now, it's just my dad and my oldest aunt and the youngest aunt left in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
quite community kind of focused.
Yes. Sometimes it could be overwhelming because there's so many family members in the house.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you don't have your own personal space or personal time. Everyone just around you. And I grew up in kind of strict, but not too strict family, I guess. Like they were always checking out on you. Like I remember this when I always go out with my friends, and when I was younger in my hometown, I can receive like maybe 10 calls from 10 different family members just to check where am I, what am I doing, you know. It could be my dad call, and after that my oldest aunt and my second aunt, the third aunt, and the youngest aunt.
Wow.
Even my grandmom. Yeah, they would just like check out on me like, what time you coming back, and where you gone, you know, stuff like that.
Wow, that's a little intense.
Yeah, it is. If you ask my friend in my hometown, they would know how strict my family is. So every time when they're gonna hang out until nighttime, they'll check with me to make sure, am I able to go out at night? Because they know how strict my family is sometimes. When I'm not at home, they'll just keep checking on me.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. I mean, I guess that's what every family is. They always worry about you, making sure you're alright and checking on you. Because I got big family, that's why it looks more intense, because there's so many people around. Yeah,
and they all know you're not in the house and want to make sure you're alright.
Yes, and they'll just, call me. But yeah, that's how my family is.
Do you think that might be part of the reason why you decided to also go overseas and just have a new experience where no one is so close? Or what was your reason for going overseas in the first place?
Maybe that's one part of the reason, but I never really think about why, because when I graduated from high school, I wasn't even sure what to do, where to go. You know that stage of life when you're still figuring out yourself, like you don't know where you're going to go in the future.
Yeah.
And at the time, my dad did want me to study business because that's how my family always is. We have a family business.
Cool.
All my family pretty much work in the same family company.
Yeah.
So it's a car dealership that my granddad started.
Oh, yeah.
And pretty much every single member work in that business. Besides, expect my youngest aunt, she opened a perfume shop before, but now I think she's opened a ice cream shop, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so at that time, so my family's more like business focused people,
like
career. Yes.
Yeah.
And my dad wanted me to start a business, but I'm not really interested on office job and business.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I like food as always, ever since you're a kid, I was a kid, I always like to try new things. And besides, because my hometown is a foodie place, there's a lot of street food, cafe, restaurant around.
Yeah.
There's just a food court next to my house, so I always walk there every time when I feel I want to have something.
Yeah.
I'll go to my granddad, and then he'll just give me some money to go next door to take away. And I guess that's a habit sometimes. Plus, I don't really like my home cook that much for some reason. I don't like seafood, that fishy smell.
Yeah.
And my grandmom always cooked veggie with those dry shrimp and anchovy, the smelly one, which I don't really like. So for some reason, I just feel like ever since I was a kid, I have a habit of eating out or just cook myself, like maybe do some simple dish like pasta, instant noodle, or just cereal. But yeah, sorry, where was I? We were talking about, why I go overseas. Sorry, Carrie. So because of that, I picked a subject that I feel I might like the most, which is hospitality management, because it has a little bit of management, which I guess my dad were happy about. And also has that food side of the course, like, because the first year is all about learning restaurant service, like chef, cooking and baking, which I like. So this is the reason I choose that course. And I can't remember who gave me the idea to go Australia. I think this maybe is one of the teacher from my English tuition. I think she's the one that suggested me to go Australia to study. At the time, I don't really have any opinion. I just basically think about it and think, it sounds interesting, so might as well just go. And plus, my oldest aunt, Michelle, always bring me overseas trip since I was a kid, because she's the only family member in the house that always like to travel overseas, go around, try new things. And she's the one that took care of me since I was a kid, like she and my grandma. Because when I was young, like when I was a kid, my dad didn't really spend much time at home, because at that time he also very quite career focused. So the responsibility of taking care of me was onto my Aunt Michelle and my grandma. And my mom kind of left me when I was like primary school. I can't remember. I don't really have much memory of my mom, and when I was a kid, she doesn't really always at the house. I think she was just with her family back in Kuala Lumpur. And then the only memory I have is, I remember one day when I was in primary school, she just argued with my dad and stormed off the house, and I never see her again.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But so that's why ever since I was a kid, my grandma and my aunt Michelle take care of me. So I guess that's what I get from my aunt. Always travel around, like to try new things. And I think that's one of the reasons I want to go overseas, to explore new culture and new way of living style. Also, another reason is I'm bad at Malay. You can't really survive without Malay in Malaysia. Because in Malaysia, as I say, is a multicultural country. So we had to learn, since primary school, we had to learn 3 different languages.
Wow.
We had to learn Malay, English, and Mandarin. That's all part of the subject they teach in school. And I'm only good at Mandarin because, my family speak Mandarin, so that one's definitely fine. And English is good because I like to read and play some video games and watch TV. Sometimes more, I want to know what's the meaning. I'll look at the dictionary myself to know what this words mean. So I guess that's why my English is slightly better than all the other. And Malay is just a language that I don't really use it often unless I go out to, to order some food or a restaurant to order something. So which is why my Malay is not really that good. And I remember before I heard that if you want to graduate from uni in Malaysia, you have to pass your Malay, otherwise you can't graduate.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I have to go overseas, I guess. So yeah, that's why.
That's very interesting. So is Malay the main language, or because you are so multicultural there, the main languages are Malay and Mandarin?
Well, the main language in Malaysia is Malay. That's the official language. And then Mandarin, it depends on what family from. And
that's so interesting that you're from Malaysia, but the main language from your country is the one which is the hardest for you to learn.
Yes, I guess that's optional when you don't really, have that environment or interact with a lot of Malay people, I guess. But that's one of the reasons. I know.
It's so interesting to hear that kind of your auntie was taking the part of your mom pretty much. And your grandma. And it's totally logical that when your auntie was taking you overseas to trips and you enjoyed it, obviously, that you kind of growing up with that, having not the fear of going anywhere, because if you never traveled, I think it's always a big thing, like, oh my God, to step effort into the airplane or to actually go overseas is always like a big limitation if you are afraid of it or if you have never done it before.
Yeah, I think I've been trained well, I guess, to be more independent.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Because I remember even when my grandmom, she used to go to a casino in Malaysia. There's one casino in Malaysia which is quite famous. I mean, it's the only casino in Malaysia. It's called Genting Highland. And sometime when they went out, I always go with them. But I can't go in, obviously. So I always outside the casino where there's a giant theme park, and they just left me by myself. So I'll just go out and explore the whole theme park area myself.
Wow. And how old were you?
Primary school, I guess. I can't remember exactly how old I am. I just know that they'll give me some money, and they'll wait at the internet cafe just for them to come and pick me up. But sometimes I just get bored and I'm wandering out for myself. I know I won't get lost because I'm good at recognize the road. So sometimes they were surprised how I know the area so well because they didn't know I just went out and venture myself around.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. You wandering around as a little boy.
Yeah.
And just don't be scared at all.
When you're a kid, I guess you're not really that scared of anything.
Yeah.
Plus, you know that your family will find you, I guess.
Yeah. But it's funny because the way I got to know you and see you here, you move around so much, not like moving houses, but just you travel around. You never really want to stand still. You want to explore food places.
Yes. Or you try out new things.
Travel around, exactly.
So I guess it's just a habit or interest I really have since I was a kid. Just explore, try new things. And I just really can't really stand not doing anything. Always want to go out, over the weekend. Even just, went to next town like Cambridge for lunch is good enough for me.
Yeah.
As long as not just stay at home doing nothing. It's just boring,
Yeah, I do.
You don't enjoy, life more, just experience new things.
I have the same spirit, I would think. And I try to find a balance because Nick doesn't always need to get out. Sometimes he likes just being at home. And, of course, I can do that sometimes as well. Mm-hmm. But if I have too many weekends where I didn't really go on an adventure or like see something new, try something new, or just get out of the house and do something, I will go mental. Like, I just
can't stand the boredness or just, just doing nothing.
Yeah.
You feel like you're wasting your life, your time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like,
of course
you just have that one life.
Yes. Of course, it's nice sometimes you have just maybe one day doing nothing, just, tidy up the house and relax. But you don't want it every weekend or every day. Just occasionally we fine.
I totally agree.
Yeah. The same way my partner. My partner doesn't like to go out all the time. Yeah. I mean, for travel, it's fine if we're going out somewhere. But if we in Hamilton, while we want to go out around Hamilton because you already live here. I was like, but it's different. You just want to, fresh air or just going out, maybe meet people or just,
I
enjoy
totally
the sun,
understand.
Interact with other people,
I think I have the same with my partner. He doesn't always need to go. And I'm usually the one being like, can we at least go in for a mini walk or
have a lunch
something?
Somewhere.
Yeah. So totally feel you. And he's not bad. But for example, just recently, because I just recently started a new job, I don't have much annual leave and I don't want to be already away, like starting a new job and then being away straight away. It wasn't really my intention. And I was thinking, okay, maybe we can have like a mini trip somewhere because we went early this year, to Rarotonga. But usually I need a little more. So that wasn't enough for me for this year. So I was like, maybe we can go for a week to Australia or something, just to get out a little bit again. But he's not too interested. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could just really get out with someone. But sometimes all you want is taking your partner with you.
Yes. You don't want to do it yourself. You don't want to go. So, because sometimes you want to go out, but you can't find anyone to go out with, and that makes you like less motivated to really going out, because it's more fun to really going out with someone, share the experience.
Exactly.
Things you can talk about together. It's all about the experience, the memories you create together with people around you, people you love, your friends, your family.
Exactly.
So,
I know a lot of people who would say like, I just do it myself. Like if no one wants to come with me, no one stops me. And that's amazing. But I'm not like that as well.
Because
I'm more...
You feel like boring. You feel like, what happens if you see something that's so interesting, fun, and good, but you have no one around to share with, to share the happiness?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just hard to really enjoy it when you can't really share the joy.
Yeah, I think it's really different personalities, right? And in that case, I'm more like you as well.
Yes.
But coming back to the whole situation going overseas, so you have been living in Australia then for 2 years. You studied there, right? Was that the part with the food and management you said earlier? Yeah,
so I went to Sydney, Australia to study for hospitality management for 2 years.
Yeah.
At first, my aunt, Michelle, did accompany me there for like a month just to see how well I settled in. Yeah. So she's like, give like a training wheel, show me around and teach me how to like find rental and stuff like that. Just nice. To be there to support me just in case everything goes wrong,
Yeah.
So after I settled in, and then she just left, and just me by myself in Sydney.
How old
for 2
were you?
years. I think 19.
Yeah, still young.
Yeah. So I quite surprised myself about how I did it, because I didn't really imagine that, expecting that much. I'll just go for it and just do it. Yeah. I guess the assignment of going to a new place, away from family, just, your own personal space, personal time to do whatever you want, and meeting new friends and new people, that makes me overcome the fear of living in a totally strange place.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? Like realizing you were afraid a little bit because everything is new and it's a challenge, but feeling that, or realizing you overcome that fear, is such a massive growing opportunity. And it's just amazing to actually have the opportunity to do that. And then realizing you have done it and being able to be so proud of yourself as well. I think that's a nice feeling.
Yes, it is. I'm quite happy by taking that first step to leave the country and go overseas, because all the experience, the people you met, it's just like a lifetime experience that might not get a second chance.
Yeah.
And I've been studying there and then meet a lot of people from different country.
Yeah.
Because the course I study, they put all the international students together in the class. So this way you can meet all other people from all the different countries. There's like people from Japan, China, Brazil, and Indonesia. Yeah, there's plenty different culture all in one classroom. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so cool.
Yes, and yeah.
And did you meet... No. Where did you meet your partner?
Okay, that's a very long story. Okay, so after I graduated from Sydney, I took a little bit gap year, because at that time also, when you graduate, you're not sure what to do next, maybe looking for a job. But I'm not really that actively looking, because I like Australia lifestyle quite a lot as well, and I'm trying to stay there when I was studying in Sydney, trying to find a way to stay in Australia, but it's hard. The immigration law there is pretty hard, so it's hard to really find a way to stay there like long term.
Yeah.
So that's why when I graduate, I just left Australia and go back home. Plus, my family always keep asking me to go home. Because the only person that support me to go overseas is pretty much just my Aunt Michelle.
Yeah.
The rest of the family just like, why had to go so far? Why can't you just stay in Malaysia, study in Malaysia, you know?
Yeah,
You
be home.
Be home.
Working in the business.
Yes,
Yeah.
they will never, my dad and my granddad will never stop asking the same question, like, so when you coming back, and, you know, do you want to like work in the family, stuff like that?
Yeah.
But my aunt was like, just go out, you know,
Live your life.
Yeah,
not
just
the expectation of your family.
do what you want, you know, don't worry about all the other people, just do what you want. So yeah, but you know, at that time, you know, I was young, not too sure what I'm gonna do. I just follow the flow, you know, just see wherever life take me. So when I try to stay in Australia, but I can't find a way, I went back Malaysia for like a short time, around 6 months, just to helping out my family a little bit, like help my aunt business, my third aunt. She has a bar. She also studied the same course as me when she was young.
Yeah.
She studied hospitality management, so she started a bar in Mort, and I was helping her for like a few months, and also helping my family car dealership business for a few months, like doing some paperwork, you know, office job, stuff like that. And then my aunt feels like might be wasting my time just doing those random things. And that's why she convinced me to just, you know, go for a gap year, try to, you know, explore more things and experience different culture.
Yeah.
So she basically gave me a startup farm. She gave me like 10,000 just for me to plan my own trip. Not really my own trip, just use it wherever you feel like you want to figure out what you're going to do in the future.
Yeah.
And then she pretty much just pushed me out there, you know, try to force me to be more independent, because sometimes I do really need a little bit push. It's not about that first step, you know, when you're not really confident enough to really take it.
Yeah.
And then she's the one that will just push me out.
Yeah.
So she helped me to find work for accommodation in Australia.
Yeah.
So I went back to Australia again, to Tasmania, just for like working for accommodations. Basically, I work in a motel, and they give you like free accommodations. So it's almost like working holiday concert, you know. You go there for a few hours of work to exchange for free accommodation, and the rest of the free time you can spend traveling around that place. So she looked through the website, helped me found this accommodation in Tasmania that looking for helper, that you work for like few hours a day cleaning, and then they give you free accommodation.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time you can just go out and explore.
Yeah.
So I did that. That kind of like my first work experience, because before that I never really did any proper job before, even during study.
Yeah.
I mean, in study on the last years, I did work casually in a bar, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So after that Tasmania trip, at the end of the trip, I start planning for the next adventure.
Yeah.
Starting to think, where should I go? I don't want to just go back to Malaysia just like that, you know?
Yeah.
I want to like explore more. So it turned to be a slightly longer gap year.
Yeah.
After 3 months in Tasmania, I fly to Thailand and stay for a month over there at the backpackers.
Yeah.
And the reason I choose that also is related to food, because I saw this article when I was on the flight to Tasmania. I saw this article on Flight Magazine, say Chiang Mai, Thailand has a lot of cafe that looks pretty interesting. And that's one of the reasons I think, okay, I'll choose Chiang Mai. So that's why I go to Chiang Mai, stay in backpacking for a month. Didn't really plan much travel around. I basically just stay there and meet new friends. So every morning I just like, you know, the accommodation include breakfast. You can help cook yourself like egg and toast, simple thing like that.
Oh yeah. And
I just stay there and help other people cooking breakfast. I was like, do you guys want egg? I can help you guys, you know, cook up some egg and toast, you know, like that. Just try to like start our conversation, start to meet people.
Build
And
relationships.
that's how I did when I was in Chiang Mai. On the first week, I go around, travel around, try out those cafes that I like, and familiar the area.
Yeah.
And then on the rest of the week, like second week and third week, I just basically every morning I just sit in the living room of the backpacker and meeting people and talk to them and like show them which is a good cafe. And I kind of like go out with a couple group of friends. I mean, not a couple group of people that I met when I was in backpacker and go out and bring them. I even bring them to the same cafe 3 times with 3 separate groups just because I like that cafe so much. So I was like a little local tourist guy.
Food guide for Thailand, even though you are not from Thailand.
No, but because I stayed there for so long, I know like some nice areas. So I just like trying to start a conversation and then bring them around. So on the final week in Chiang Mai, that's when I met my partner.
Yeah.
She was the last group of the people I met in Chiang Mai. So I was just, as usual, chatting with them, asking where they're going, what's the plan, and just follow them. And when they say they're going to go to the mountain behind Chiang Mai, so I just also rent a motorbike and going out the mountain with them.
Nice.
And that time is on my second time on the bike, so it's also quite a unique experience because I think in Thailand they don't. All you need is a car license, so they don't really worry do you know how to drive or not, as long as you take care of yourself. So I went up the mountain, following like my partner with her friend. She was with another friend at that time. Those two, they were traveling together. Yeah. So I just like joined the group.
Nice.
And I went up the mountain, traveled around with them, and on the way on the way to another village on the mountain road, there's a pothole in the middle of the road, and I was on the front. I didn't really see the pothole because there's shadow and it's quite dark. So my whole motorbike just basically, the wheel just stuck in the pothole and I flipped over my motorbike. I was rolling on the floor and they were at back and they saw me lying on the floor, and that's why they slowed down and avoid the pothole.
Yeah. And
so my partner, she studied acupuncture, Chinese medicine, right? So she has a little bit of first aid knowledge.
Yeah.
So she took care of me when I was like there. And when the ambulance came, she followed me to the hospital. And after that, she like take care of my wound, like bandage, like give me a little bit basic first aid.
Yeah.
And that's how I first met her.
Yeah.
And that time I didn't, think much. I was like almost at the end of my trip. But because of that accident, I was like, maybe I should just
extend it a little.
Yeah, a little bit just to, don't want to go home like that. My family will freak out probably. So I asked them where they're going next. And they told me all the plan they thinking to go. But with the budget they told me, I was like, you're not going to make it with that budget. So I basically took over the plan from them and planned it for them. Like, I basically like book everything. I told with the plan, talk with the budget, or tell them just give me the budget and I'll plan everything for you for the rest of the trip. So that's how I hijacked the plane and then extended my trip and then follow them and took them, plan the rest of the trip for them. So after the Chiang Mai, we went to Bangkok, Cambodia, and Vietnam. It's the last trip of my gap year.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just the relationships just kind of like developed during the trip with my partner.
Yeah.
We just, because we spend so much time together during the travel, we just talk a lot. And also that is the time when we decided to came New Zealand, because she was thinking for a working holiday in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because I think New Zealand is open to China for working holiday visa. Yeah. There's not much country around the world that has a working holiday visa. Yeah. I think New Zealand is one of the ones that's easy to get for China. So that's why she mentioned to me, and I was like, it sounds interesting. Maybe I should go as well.
And as you learned before,
before I never even know working holiday or even know New Zealand. So ever since I heard from her, I was like, okay, I'll start looking. And that's why I start digging into more details and saw that even they also open to Malaysia. So yeah, that's why we will just chat about it. And she said she had planned to come New Zealand for the working holiday. And I was like, okay, let's just go together, I might as well join you for New Zealand.
Have you at that point already decided you are in a relationship when you were in Vietnam? Or
So we kind of start a relationship on the final day in Vietnam. Yes. So during the trip, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know how. I guess it just naturally happened.
Happened. Fair enough.
Yes.
And she took care of you when you were wounded and when you were in hospital. So that also probably helped to feel a little bit more connected to that person.
So at the final day in Vietnam, before she go back China, we were talk a lot during the night and just should we start? So that's how we start a relationship together. And that's when I invite her to come to Malaysia and visit family whenever you got time, And on that same year, I think it was 2014. Yep, on that same year, August, she came to visit me in Malaysia. Nice. I was quite surprised as well. I wasn't expecting that soon because I think when she went back, she told her mom.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, her mom's quite open-minded. Her mom's just like, yeah, sure, go visit me in Malaysia. I was like, wow. I was surprised, wow, your mom not worried about I'm a bad guy and just kidnap me or whatever. Because some Asian parents are very strict, So yeah, glad that she came to Malaysia and visited me, and that's how I introduced her to my family, and
nice.
That's how we, take our relationship further.
Yeah.
And on that same year as well, I went to China to visit her family.
Yeah.
At December over the New Year's.
Nice.
Yeah. And
then you came to New Zealand together.
Also, it's quite surprisingly lucky as well because, working holiday visa in New Zealand is quite hard to get. It's not hard to apply. It's just because it's only 1,000 spot they opened for the people.
Yeah.
So can you imagine when there's maybe 1,000 or maybe 1,000,000 of people try to visit the website, try to apply for the visa when there's only 1,000 spot, the website just keep crashing.
Yeah.
And you have to keep refresh the website, trying to try your best, try your luck to get into the website to fill out the application form.
Yeah.
I even helped her on that day as well. I woke up 5 a.m, log onto the website, and keep refreshing, but just keep crashing. And surprisingly lucky, I managed to apply, get it.
Yeah.
So it's also
kind of lucky as well. Did you also came on the working holiday visa?
Yes.
So the
odds of both of us getting working holiday visa was
even harder. Not just one, but two.
It was so low. So that's why we were surprised. Wow, so lucky. And both times I got it. Both time it was me because I think the website she's trying to browse on China is quite slow.
Yeah.
So it was just the odds. It's hard to imagine what are the odds, wasn't it? Both of us get working holiday visa.
Yeah.
So when both of us got the visa, and that's when we start planning to come to New Zealand in 2015.
Yeah.
But she came just a couple of days before me, pretty much the same period of time, around March, end of March, April.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we came to New Zealand, ever since.
And what is the reason for you, you never know where you go next, but you have been here for 8 years now, right?
Yes.
So what makes you feel okay, I don't feel the urge of straight going to a different country, into another country. Do you feel quite settled in New Zealand?
Well, even though it's 8 years, but I wouldn't say it feels that long because on the first few years, we've been trying to find a way to stay in New Zealand to get New Zealand residence.
Yeah.
So it's actually feel kind of shorter than that. I feel it's only like been like maybe 5 years or something.
Yeah.
Because when we first came to New Zealand, we didn't really think that far.
Yeah, fair
We
enough.
just say, yeah, let's come working holiday and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So when we came to New Zealand, we will spend a month in Ohakuni. That's our first stop after Auckland, when we land in Auckland.
Yeah.
We went to Ohakuni for, also it's a work for accommodation as well that I found online, just so you can save some cost of renting when you still figure out which city you're gonna go, what job you're gonna find and, or get. So when we've been there for a month, my partner, Jing, found the job in Hamilton first. So that's why I'm just following and came here together with her. And also found a job at a restaurant nearby and just start working. So at that time, we were on working holiday visa. We like the lifestyle here as well. Like, the natural, the people and the laid-back lifestyle, very relaxing, and it's just more cleaner and safer here.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find a way to stay here, get a residence and stay here longer, long term or permanently.
Yeah, yeah.
And those first few years are quite hard because
Yeah.
you don't know where your future gonna be. You don't know, are you even gonna get it, or are you gonna
have to go somewhere else? Yeah.
Because we just keep trying, keep looking around for a job, keep finding a job that will provide us the assistance to get the visa.
Yeah.
And quite luckily, she did manage to find a job that willing to help her to get residency.
Yeah.
And I think after that, it's 2 years, almost 3 years in New Zealand. Then we finally got our residency and been staying here ever since. Like finally you feel like you settle down now.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep fighting for it or to keep, busy yourself trying to find ways to stay here. And then now we finally settle down and starting a new life in a different country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, we don't really feel like keep going around and around.
Yeah, so now you feel like,
We just
okay,
feel for now we happy on where we are. We just settle down.
Yeah.
Possibly recently, how COVID that few years ago is so unstable.
Yeah.
And now the economy is just, not really that stable yet. We feel like maybe it's not really a good time to just keep going everywhere, right? We just have to settle down and see how the life is, see where the road takes us. And maybe when in the future, when everything is more stable financially and economically, you can think of what we're going to do next,
Yeah, yeah.
She did have a little bit interest on going to Australia just because she thinks that Australia is more warmer over there and also it's more higher salary.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't really mind, I guess. I just follow where she wants to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do still prefer here in New Zealand because it's much more quiet.
Yeah.
Plus I got, a few friends here.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I got more friends here than Malaysia. Yeah, because when I was a kid, I'm actually a completely different person back then. I was more introvert, shy, very scared of meeting new people, very quiet.
Yeah.
I remember back then, one time when I was studying in Sydney, when I received phone call for interview, my social anxiety just make me don't want to pick up the phone. I even turn my mobile off just so I don't get call. I don't know why, just that weird social anxiety of meeting people, talk to people that caused me to, maybe my confidence not that high to really feel that I'm good enough,
Yeah.
But
Isn't that great to see how it has changed over the years though? How you remember how you felt with the social anxiety and that you were more introverted and harder to find friends and make friends. And now look at you, you went to go on your trip and you pretty much stayed in the hostel and talked to everyone who came through the door and made friends and found your partner.
Surprised. That's why I said I was so surprised at how I met my partner, because I feel I would never ever do that. I don't know how, but it just happened. From such a social anxiety, shy, introvert people to become someone that's, just normal a little bit. better. So yeah, it does surprise me. I
It's
guess every time I tell people that's how I like back then, people are quite surprised as well because I don't look like that right now.
Yeah.
I guess it's just all the experience that I have kind of like changed me a little bit.
Yeah. I feel you so much because my friends don't believe me when I say I'm actually quite shy deep down, and I still feel
I'm
that
still the same as well.
Yeah.
I mean, inside me, I still feel a little bit, but I guess not as bad as before. But sometimes in your mind, I guess inside, you just feel like
You're
so
still
much
the same
energy. You have to
person.
you have so much energy to socialize, meeting new people. It's so hard to meet new people when you have used that much energy to really,
Yeah.
like getting to know each other. That process, that stage when you first know each other, that sometimes the awkwardness, that you can't stand. But I guess you just have to do it when they came. You just have to like try your best to overcome your fear and do it.
Absolutely. I remember that one of my friends, and most of my friends from like 15 years ago should know me like that. When we went out, we were going out to clubs and partying quite early on. And when we would hang out with other people in the beginning, because the clubs would just open up at 10 o'clock or something, right? Like 10 p.m. And so we would hang out with friends in their place first and then go out. And so every time we would meet different people, which I haven't met before, my friend would be like, are you okay to meet those people? They are really nice. I promise you they are really, really sweet. But if you don't feel okay, I can also tell them we will just meet in the club. We don't have to hang out with them. And I was feeling so bad because I knew I felt really uncomfortable. But then I was like, no, it's not possible that she's not inviting them over just because of my social anxiety and being so shy. And I was like, oh no, it's fine. Even though inside I was like really tense and
really terrifying of meeting new people, that awkwardness,
Yeah. But then just over time it got easier and easier, and now it's still there inside.
Yes. But it's still in there, but you wouldn't show it that as much as before, and you would just like do it. Yeah. And once you do it, you slowly relaxing a little bit because you feel like, oh, there's nothing to worry about. Everything's fine.
Exactly.
You see the outcome and you know that everything's good. And then you stop worrying. And then get to know them more and more and better.
Yeah. And being so like what I love to see is looking back from where you came from and then that you have made that change all the way. And it's just proof of you can become who you want to be. You don't have to stay that shy person and you don't have to be like that forever. If you want to be more confident, if you want to be more comfortable with other people, you have to get over your fear and you have to get out of your comfort zone for sure.
The first step is always the hardest.
Yeah. So it will be really uncomfortable for a while, but then it just gets better and better. And
it just takes time.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you have to understand not everyone click, If you feel like you don't really hang out well, then it's okay. It's fine.
And some people don't want to get out of their comfort zone. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would encourage people. Yes.
Because some people like to be by themselves, like their own personal space. Yeah. So sometimes when they don't want to like hang out or do whatever, it's fine. You can just let them do their own thing, be themselves.
Exactly.
Everyone's different, right?
Important, yeah.
Yes.
I always finish the episode with a quick 3 questions. But before we come to those questions, I would love to know what has been your best experience from living abroad and what has been your worst experience from living abroad. You don't have to broaden it if you don't want to, but just to pick one thing where you would say it comes to your mind where you felt like that was the best thing about living abroad or that was the worst thing living abroad so far.
It's hard to really say. I guess the best thing about living abroad is you feel more alive.
Yeah.
You get to experience more different culture, different people, different things every day. Because, back at home when everyone know each other so well and it's just a small town, you feel like every day is the same thing over and over again, nothing change. But when you're living abroad, every day feels like a new day. You got all those new places that's yet to explore.
Yeah.
And those people you haven't met, and there's so much things you can do, there's so much potential. I think that's one of the best things to live abroad.
I love how you said you feel more alive. I totally feel that too.
Yes.
I would love how you said that.
Yes, it has that weird feeling, when I was, let's say, when I go back, like recently, like, I feel like there's nothing I can do there. It feels like...
You feel trapped a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like trapped. I mean, every day, morning, you just, wake up, have breakfast, lunch, dinner with family, and that's about it. You just feel like you're not living your own life.
Yeah.
But because from a big family like mine, everyone has a little bit of interfering with your life.
Yeah.
Even though they, it's family, they do it for you. They think that they do it for your own good, but sometimes they a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So you want to have your own idea, own mindset, own decision. So it's sometimes when you're living on board, you get all those choices you can make that without worrying about causing any interfering with other people at all.
Yeah. I get that.
So which is that one good thing. And
that was the best thing for you for living abroad.
Yes, living your own life.
Do you have one experience where you said like, okay, that was the hardest bit? Because obviously we know living overseas is not always easy. It's not always just fun. So what was where you said like, okay, that was actually really hard?
I guess the hardest thing is sometimes I feel a little bit loneliness probably.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, like, it's also a bit weird because it's a bit conflict as the best thing because you get to know new people and new adventure. But when I talk about loneliness, I was talking about like you feel like your roots,
Yeah.
Yeah, part of your roots is not here. Like it's not the same thing as family that they will always support you no matter how.
Yeah.
There's a home that you can go back to. So, but living abroad, that means you own your own. You have to take care of yourself and be strong. And sometimes you might feel a bit lonely because there's no one really there for you. Sometimes, I mean, you have a lot of friends, but some friends and family is a bit different.
Yeah. I know, especially your family knows you from when you were a little boy and how you grew up and your childhood.
And sometimes you can truly be yourself when you're with your family.
Yeah.
Because when you go out with friends, you can't really always be like sharing negative with them, right? But with family, it's different. Family can be like if there's anything wrong, you can always speak up with them and tell them.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only bad thing.
I think the ideal goal is to be able to be vulnerable and open with your friends as well. But I think when you don't know them that long yet, because you've just been living here for still a few years.
Yes, so it's just different. And it's hard to explain because they won't get your situation not as much as your family, I guess. Because the people that understand you the most is always family. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So now we come to the end and we ended with the quick 3 questions, which means like just an easy answer with 1 word or 1 sentence.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So, number 1, which other country could you imagine living in? If you would decide it's not New Zealand anymore, we move on, which country would come to your mind? You would think, oh yeah, I always thought about maybe living in that country.
Australia, I would say.
Yeah.
Because, I think it's the easiest choice. It's just next door.
Yeah. And with the visa also easier.
Yes, easier.
Fair enough. Number 2, what do you miss the most about Malaysia?
The food.
Yeah. You as a foodie and all the food markets?
All the street food, all the different culture food and also very cheap price.
Yeah, I understand
Yes,
that.
you can pretty much try out the whole menu without breaking your bank, I guess.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And number 3, what do you love the most about New Zealand?
The people here and the lifestyle. Very laid back. People are friendly. And it's safe. And the weather. I don't like hot weather, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it could never be hot enough, I guess. Well, I don't want to say that because there is a limit for me as well. But sometimes I miss having a little bit more heat here in New Zealand.
I guess the balance, I guess. But Malaysia is like, every day is like 40 degrees summer.
Oh, God, yeah.
There's no cold weather at all. So I guess that's why I was like, too hot.
Yeah. So you couldn't even live in your own country for too long because it's too hot for you.
Or you can't really go out, I guess. You know, I like to walk outside, but in Malaysia, when it's so hot, it's really hard to walk. Actually, it's funny. There's one time when I was in Kuala Lumpur with my partner.
Yeah.
I was looking at this restaurant nearby. It's only like 10, 20 minutes walk.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's walk there. And then when my family heard that, I was like surprised because no one really walk out there in Malaysia, I guess, for some reason. I don't know why. So that's why they were like surprised to hear that I walk. I was like, I just like walking around.
Yeah. And then afterwards you were just like, okay, now I remember why we don't walk. It's too hot.
Too sweaty. You get sweat easily.
So thank you so much for your time today, Adam. It was great having the conversation about your story and about Malaysia. And I hope one day I will go there and visit just to see a little bit of one of the most multicultural countries in the world, which I did not know before. So
welcome in time. Let me know when you feel I want to go to Malaysia, and maybe I can be your tour guide.
Oh, yeah.
Showing you around.
After hearing how you're easily taking over other people's plans.
Yes, I'll plan a trip for you.
Yeah, I don't even need to put any effort into that.
Just hop on and follow me.
Thank you so much. And I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. And see you next time. Bye-bye.